Hey folks, Zach Osterman here. I win Saturday Indianapolis Star. Zion Brown and Indianapolis Star, sitting in what is this? The I guess one of the radio
booths
booths
here in Maryland.
at what I will always refer to as Bird Stadium at Maryland. But then again, this team should probably still be in the ACC. We'll set that to one side. Indiana 17, Maryland 44. It was 21-3, 12 and a half minutes into the game. At one point, I think Maryland ran 6 plays on its first 3 scoring drives combined.
Yes.
Yep. This was just never close. Indiana knew this would be a challenge. Maryland was 4-0, 2-score, 3-score favorite, kind of depending on where you looked. But for all the talk of sort of self-evaluation, for all of the soul-searching that Indiana sort of promised it was engaging in after the ugliness of the Akron win, for this to be the quote-unquote response does not speak very well of the direction of this season.
Absolutely not. And I wrote about it in my story. The Indiana defense felt like it kind of just fell apart almost immediately. I think the very first play of the game where Talia Tungavailoa finds Ja'Shawn Jones up the left sideline, it's a 62-yard gain. I think from that moment on, this Indiana defense was just broken and demoralized because really after that they did nothing to stop Maryland. You mentioned it, 6 plays to get the first 3 scores of the game for Maryland.
All of them touchdowns too.
Some of that was field positioning, but still to give up 3 scores, 3 touchdowns, like you said, in 6 plays. That shows that something is wrong with your defense, and that's what happened tonight.
Indiana just never really engaged with this game in any meaningful, positive way. It was, what was it, at 27-3, I think, at halftime?
Yes.
Taven Jackson, you could say, struggled 17-29, 113 yards and an interception that wasn't really on him. He was also sacked 3 times. They replaced him with Brendan Sorsby, who had 84 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that was very much in garbage time. And I'm not taking anything away from Sorsby. I'm just saying there was kind of no, you talk about the defense, and you're right. This is the 3rd straight game Indiana's allowed, I think, at least 400 yards on defense. Indiana's had well over a dozen games in the last 3 seasons, even if you take out ones like Iowa in 2021, where maybe the defense did not directly give up all the points. Indiana's had well over a dozen games where it's allowed defensively 30 or more points just in the last basically 2.5 seasons. But the offense wasn't any better. This was the first time we'd seen the offense score a touchdown against a Big Ten opponent. It was the first time in, something like 8 quarters that we'd seen Indiana score a touchdown. I guess that's not true because they did get 1 regulation touchdown against Akron last week. But the point was Indiana's offense was never effective when it would have been meaningful to be so. This was just like a sort of total system failure, and we have used that phrase, or at least I have used that phrase, too often in describing Indiana's performances in the last 2.5 seasons.
No, that's exactly what it was from the Indiana offense standpoint. It started off well after Maryland went up early. They went down, they couldn't convert on a touchdown, but they got a field goal. But then after that, there wasn't much to be happy or proud about for this Indiana offense. None of the Taven Jackson-led drives after that point yielded points for IU. So something is wrong with this offense. Very, very wrong. They can't convert on short yardage. I think they ended up 3 for 6 today on 4th down, but they were 1 for 4 when it mattered.
And the fact that you're going for 6 4th downs, and some of those, one of them was a fake punt deep in your own territory.
So you want to take that
one of them was like 4th and medium. The fact that you feel compelled to go for it 6 times on 4th down tells you just how desperate Indiana was chasing the game today from a points perspective. And listen, again, Maryland is good. Maryland went.
Yes. I think this should be a ranked team. It's not right now, but they should be.
They won their bowl game last season. They were 4-0 coming into today. I'm not taking anything away from Maryland. But Indiana has always had to measure itself, at least in the era of the Big Ten East, so the last decade or so, against essentially the best of the rest, the not Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. This isn't scientific, but Indiana has lost to Rutgers and Michigan State. It's gone to bowl games. It's beaten Penn State. It's stayed home. It's never lost this game and gone to a bowl game in the era of geographical divisional alignment. It has never won this game and missed a bowl. This has always been a real barometer of where Indiana is relative to the teams in the Big Ten that it needs to be close to and competitive with to realize its own goals. And 44-17 is just difficult can't square that circle.
No, you can't. And now this team goes to a bye week. It's hard to go into a bye week when you know you play Michigan. because this team is not one that should even act like it has a chance to go into the big house and win a game. But you want to go into the bye week and say, and at least fix some of the issues, whether it's on defense or offense or both. I'm not sure this team can. You mentioned we talked about the fourth downs and how you shouldn't even go for fourth down attempts. There was one where it was 21-3, so Indiana's not necessarily in the game, but it's 21-3. It's 4th and 6, and easy. It would have been about a 30-yard field goal. You kick that, make it a 2-possession game, but for some reason on needing 6 yards, they went for it on fourth down. That, to me, truly shows the desperation of this team and of this offense. They felt like they could not have just kicked that field goal and maybe managed to get back into it with a pair of touchdowns. They thought they needed a touchdown on that drive because they do not trust their offense. They do not know what they want to be, and that has shown week in and week out now ever since they beat Indiana State.
And I think just fundamentally, to me, more fundamentally than that, it shows a team that has no real sort of confidence in its process.
Yep.
That you feel like you've got to do really unorthodox things to find success because you have very little confidence. And we can talk about, it's the offensive play calling, or it's the defensive substitution patterns, or it's not getting enough pressure, or not being able to run the ball or convert short yardage situations, whatever. The point is, you don't have enough faith in like the fundamentals of your process to just sort of say, let's do the conventional thing. Let's just kind of keep turning the screw, and eventually the right things will start happening for us. The breaks will come. You feel like, it was 21-3. It's still the first half. It might have even been still the first quarter. I think it was maybe early in the second quarter, what you're talking about, that fourth down try. You are so kind of out of, so disconnected from what should be the stuff that you feel like, okay, this works. This is what we can rely on. That you feel like you've got to do stuff that goes totally against convention that early in a game. It's one thing if it's 21-3, 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you think, no, we haven't gotten a touchdown all day. We need to find our way to get a touchdown. We need to find our way to get some momentum, even third quarter, whatever. The fact that Indiana feels like it needs to chase points and momentum in that way so early in the game, again, just speaks to like a lack of faith you have in your process. And I think that's something. Tom Allen did not sound like he was of a mind to make major changes in the bye week. If you're not going to do it during the bye week, you really can't do it any other time. You need that time to, just sort of dig into whatever you might change, whether it's, something positionally, whether it's, coaching responsibilities, whatever it is. You can't really do that midstream. The bye week is the one big opportunity in the season. If you don't make them now, then you're basically betting on that process for the rest of the year. And as you said, Michigan coming out of the bye week on the road, a Rutgers team that might well be 5-2 or better when they get to Bloomington for homecoming, then Wisconsin, you got to go to Illinois, you still got to go to Purdue. I mean, it just Penn State on the road, it can get ugly in a hurry.
Absolutely. This is a team that, especially when you talk about the offense side of the ball, it feels like everything they do is off of instinct. Go back to the start of last year when Walt Bell got to Indiana. Okay, you get in Connor Bazelak. They have kind of success in a 2-minute drive late to win the first game of the year against Illinois. Then all of a sudden, everything they want to do is fast, and it just doesn't work very well. Well, eventually Dexter Williams gets in, and he does a really good job of running the ball, QB runs. Now it turns into a team that's a run-first, heavy option team. And then Taven Jackson has a good second half against Louisville. All of a sudden, Tom Allen says that's the type of team we want our offense to look like going forward. And at the same time, Walt Bell says, we like the option game. It feels like everything this team does is off of instinct, like you said, the process. They have no trust in the process and just building an actual fundamental style of what they want to be. And when you do that, you might win a game here or there like that Michigan State game last year or like that Illinois game that they won to begin last season. But you are not going to continue to build a successful and a program that has principles and something that they can pitch recruits on. Frankly, that too. When you just continue to abandon the process, any sort of process you have, and just go off instincts every time something goes well in just a short frame of time.
We'll leave it there. Indiana losers 44-17 here at Maryland, 2-3 in the season, 0-2 in Big Ten play. They have the bye week, and then they're at Michigan. For Zion Brown, I'm Zach Osterman from the Indianapolis Star. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.